Hello. So tonight I'm tasting these 3 Glengoyne minis. I'm blind tasting all 3 for the first time. I've not tried either of them. It's the 10, the 12 and the 15 year. The 10 is at 40%, 12 is at 43, as is the 15. My wife will take each of them, place them in the Glencairns. They're labelled at the bottom with 10, 12 and 15, and she'll mix them up so I don't know which is which. Onto the whiskey. Right, so my wife has mixed all 3 up so I don't know which is which. A little history about Glengoyne. It's just north of Glasgow, been going since 1833, and all of their whiskies are unpeated. All of their whiskies are uncoloured, so all of these get their colour naturally from the oak that they're in. They're all sherry whiskies, and looking at them, colour is very similar. I think the one on the end is probably darker. I don't know which is which. I wasn't looking at the bottles before this evening, so I don't actually know if any of them are actually darker. So what I'm going to do first is nose them, taste them, work out which I prefer, so which is my favourite, it's the least favourite, and then I'm going to have a stab at which is the 10, the 12 and the 15. So let's try the first one. Right, so instant sherry on the nose. There's a hint of vanilla in there. And cinnamon. It's not overly sweet. No idea which that one could be on its own. Let's try the next one. Right, that one's definitely sweeter on the nose. The sherry is still very strong. Lots of brown sugar, hint of dried fruits. Let's try the third one. That one's very similar to the last. Very sweet sherry on the nose, hint of brown sugar. From the nose, I couldn't tell those two apart. They're very, very similar. Actually, the middle one has a hint of toffee as well. Let's just go back to this one. Yeah, that one doesn't have the same level of sweetness as these two, but the middle one is definitely the most sweet on the nose. Okay, so let's go on to the taste. That one's not overly sweet on the palate. There's a hint of sweetness, and then it develops into really strong sort of sherry wine taste. Has a little bit of peppery spice. It's not too strong. It's nice. Not very complex though. On to the next. That one is so much sweeter on the palate. There's almost no pepper or prickle on the finish. It's quite flat. It reminds me of a red wine that's been open for some time. Let's try the last one. Right, this one is definitely sweeter on the palate, I think, than all of them. It doesn't have that strong, almost red wine influence like the second one. There's not much prickle at all, but it does develop slightly on the tongue. no idea in terms of age at the moment, but quick stab, I'd say this is the youngest. So I'm going to have a bit of water and go through them again. Maybe a few sips, hold it for a bit longer, see if I can work out a bit more about each whiskey. Picking up a bit of vanilla on this one again. Obviously they've all had some time in sherry and bourbon casks, so the vanilla is going to be there, but I didn't pick this one up at the first. The middle one I did. Let's go for it. I'm inclined to think this is the youngest. It's quite simple, not very complex. I think it's got the least amount of sherry influence, being the youngest. It's got quite a heavy sort of prickle. I'm thinking that's because it's getting more influence from the bourbon casks. But that's my initial impression, and it's come back again. So let's compare it to the other two. Yeah, strong toffee on the nose on this one. This one's incredibly easy to drink. There's real smoothness to this one. It's very, very soft. That flat rib wine, not picking up so much this time. A bit more of that vanilla sweetness, but it's definitely a smooth whiskey. I'm still inclined to think that's the youngest, so where does this one compare? This is definitely the sweetest on the palate initially. With my inexperience, I'm inclined to think the sweetness will develop with age, and even using colour as a judgment, I think this is slightly darker than all three. So I'm inclined to think that this is the oldest. I might be wrong, but my guess would be they are in order: 10, 12 and 15. Am I right? Let's check. Might be completely wrong. So, first one's the 15. I'm quite surprised about that. Obviously I'm trying to understand whiskey and develop better, but that one caught me out. I was expecting that one to be the 10, the youngest, just by the character that I was picking up, but that one's the oldest. Okay, let's check this one. Right, so that one's the 10. I don't know if you can see that. So that one's the youngest. So I put that as 12. I thought that was sort of midpoint. So this one is the 12. So the one I thought was the oldest is middle of the road. This one is definitely the nicest. It's the most sweet on the palate, which obviously is my liking. Although the 10 was, although I thought this was the 10 and therefore the youngest, it's still a nice whiskey. It just didn't feel complex enough. It felt a bit too simple, and that prickle on the finish. I thought that was to do with the bourbon influence from such a young whiskey. So yeah, it's real surprising. Got a lot to learn still. Obviously, the more I drink from a particular range, the easier it should get. But my favourite out of these was the 12. Small chap.